welcome everyone, and it is Happy Disability Pride Month. I want to welcome you to all the LA 84 Swim Stadium, which was an original venue built for the 1932 games, and it's withstood the test of time with renovations to ensure that all Angelenos have access to the building and enjoy the art of sport. 35 years ago, my former colleague in Congress, who was the Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, sponsored the American with Disabilities Act to ensure that America gives people with disabilities the equal treatment and opportunities that they deserve. Today, we affirm that commitment as we prepare to welcome the world for LA's first ever and largest Paralympic Games in 2028. Yeah. I really think this is something we should be so proud of, is our country's commitment to accessibility and certainly our city's commitment to accessibility. You go many places in the world and that is not the case. So today, just to reaffirm our support on the city, I will be signing an official Games Host Committee accessibility commitment. We want to put our commitment in writing. That commitment follows that we are developing and overseeing in the city the implementation of a Games accessibility plan and a Games-related executive directive to ensure that every city department prepares for the Games in a way that is efficient and accessible to all Angelenos. Yeah. We have also appointed the city's first ever accessibility chief, Natalie Sparrow, within, where's Natalie? There you are. Natalie Sparrow, within the Office of Major Events led by Executive Director Paul Krikorian. Wave your hand over there. Paul and Natalie will oversee the progress of city departments and advocate for people with disabilities. As of this week, there is Braille translation available at the Olympic and Paralympic flag installation at City Hall. There will also be an art exhibit on display in City Hall in October to highlight pieces submitted by artists with disabilities, two of which are on display here today. Right behind me, children with disabilities have access to free and adaptive swimming classes as part of the Play LA program, which recently achieved over 1 million enrollments. That's a real accomplishment. And just a few feet away is the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, which will host the Paralympic closing ceremony honoring the legacy of the 1932 and 1984 games, while also writing a new chapter in the venue's legacy in 2028. I want to acknowledge Council Member Padilla, who has been a consistent advocate for people with disabilities, ensuring that the city prepares ahead of time for the games and that the entire city and all Angelenos benefits from its lasting legacy. I also want to thank the city's Department General Manager on Disabilities, Stephen Simon. He has provided with vital support and specialized services to ensure that the city's programs and facilities are truly accessible. Next, I want to introduce Colleen Wren, Chief Paralympic Games Officer for the International Paralympics Committee, who is working every day so that LA hosts the best Paralympic Games possible. Yeah. Games that are long overdue, but it'll be the largest Paralympic Games that we have seen and the first time that Los Angeles hosts the Paralympic Games. Thank you very much. Colleen.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here today to commemorate the 35th anniversary of the passage of the American with Disabilities Act. And in 2028, we're going to mark another really major milestone, the 80th anniversary of the Paralympic movement, which began in 1948 with an archery event for 16 British servicemen and women who were injured in World War II. Since then, the Paralympic Games have now grown to the world's third largest sporting event. The commitment of the City of Los Angeles and LA 28 to make an open and accessible Paralympic Games and Olympic Games provides an incredible opportunity to advance the promise of the ADA. At the International Paralympic Committee, we believe that change starts with sport, but it doesn't end there. Through the platform of the Paralympics, the LA 28 Games will drive impact that will extend far beyond the sporting venues. The Paralympic Games shows the world what happens when barriers are removed from the playing field and the pool, and removed from the climbing wall and the track. They inspire us to think what would happen if those barriers were removed everywhere else, removed from the classroom and removed from the boardroom, removed from the concert hall and the public square, removed from every place where people with disabilities live and work and play and contribute to the advancement of the society. And more than just the transformation of physical infrastructure, the Paralympic Games changes the concept of disability. After London 2012, 1 in 3 people in the UK said that the Paralympic Games changed their attitude toward disability. And just 5 years later, 1 million more people with disabilities were employed across the UK. And the UK government directly attributed that to changes in attitudes brought on by the Paralympics. With the worldwide reach of the Paralympic Games, the Paris 2024 Paralympic opening ceremony drew twice as many people worldwide as the NFL Super Bowl this year. And LA's creativity, energy, and passion. The LA 28 Paralympics present a once-in-a-lifetime chance to create transformational impact for Angelenos, but also for people across California, the United States, and around the globe. On behalf of the IPC, I'd like to thank the City of Los Angeles and LA 28 and the whole host of partners that will come together to deliver these transformational games in LA. Your efforts will help ensure the change that starts today continues long after the Paralympic flame is extinguished in 2028. Now I'd like to introduce General Reynold Hoover, CEO of the LA 28 Organizing Committee for the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Thank you.
I'm the tall one here. Well, actually not tall. Scott's taller than me, so we have to do another adjustment. What a great day to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and what a great venue to do that in the shadow of the pool as well as the Coliseum, which was just an amazing, amazing opportunity. Mayor Bass, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for hosting this a really important event for all of us. It's really important. Councilmember Padilla, thanks so much. You've been a great champion to all of us. Thank you for being here for this as well. And Scott, it's great to see you again, and thanks for the Braille Institute and what you're doing for all of us to really spread the message as we think about not only people with disability needs, but we think about Paralympics and Paralympic athletes and bringing better accessibility to all. So thanks, Scott. I really appreciate that. Listen, we have an incredible opportunity here to work together as we prepare Los Angeles to host the 2028 Paralympic Games. You know, it's almost 3 years away to opening ceremonies, and you know, the training and the planning and the preparation is ongoing. The partnerships with both the IPC, the International Paralympic Committee, and the city, and all of our stakeholder partners is well underway. We are so excited at LA 28 to be able to be the first organizing committee to introduce a new Paralympic sport to the movement, paraclimbing. We will have over 500 Paralympic events, which is the most ever in the Paralympic movement, and we're excited about that. It'll also be the biggest Paralympic Games in the history of the Paralympic movement, and another milestone for LA. So embedded in all that we do are our athletes. Our Paralympic athletes, our Olympic athletes. Some of the Olympic athletes are spread around here. Where's Jason? Sitting in the back here. You'll hear from Jack O'Neill here in just a little bit, our Paralympic fellow. But the athletes are embedded in all that we do, in all of our planning, in every aspect of everything that we do to prepare for LA 28 and for the games, both the Olympic and the Paralympic Games. On the Paralympic side, it is really incredibly important to us that we get it right. We have one opportunity to show the world that we in LA understand the needs of the accessibility program and community, and that's why we have athletes like Jack and others who are really embedded in every aspect of what we do. When I was in Paris, I had a Paralympic athlete take me around during the Paralympic Games to experience it from their vantage point. And I will tell you, it is an entirely different thing as an able-bodied person. It's things that you just don't think about. The most mundane things you just don't think about. You don't think about the sight lines from the stadium where you're sitting and what you see or what you experience in the games. And so as a result of that, on our athletic team, we have Paralympic athletes like Jack. And we have other Paralympians who are there to tell us as we think about the planning, and we think about planning the seating bowls and the sight lines and the field of play. And we work very closely with the IPC to think about the field of play and the needs of the Paralympic athletes so that we can bring out the absolute best in all of our Paralympic athletes. Because when you all come to the games and you experience both the Olympic athletes on the field and the Paralympic athlete field on the field of play, I promise you it will get in your heart. And you'll walk away from LA 28 and the Olympics really appreciating what athletes like Jack and others are doing, not only for the movement, but for the world, and uniting us all, and you'll appreciate that. And you know, as the mayor knows, you never give a general a microphone because we won't ever shut up. You can tell I'm super excited about this. So let me just close out here and just again say we are totally committed to making sure that the Paralympics in LA, the first ever in LA and the biggest the world has ever seen, is the best and most memorable, and that the stories that will come out of the 2028 Paralympic Games are going to be incredible and will endure forever. And so with that, let me introduce my friend and partner, Councilmember Imelda Padilla.
Good morning, everyone. It's very great to be here with everybody on the stage. I'm very glad that I made it out. I wanted to make sure that as we continue to have the conversation related to the Paralympics, with the Olympics, you know, it's getting its appropriate attention. So I'm on. And what a great day to come together, right? I'm so glad that we're here to be very intentional about celebrating the 35th anniversary of the American with Disabilities Act since 1990. How many of us can remember 1990? I know I can. Yeah. Elementary for me, good times. We know that it's a landmark civil rights law that helped open doors both literally and figuratively for millions of people across the country. Myself, as someone who had an orthopedic condition that was visibly in my legs from age 2 to 12 until I had a major surgery at Shriners Hospital for something called rickets, I know exactly what it's like to face mobility challenges. For me, this is something as simple as an accessible ramp instead of a staircase. A staircase can make all the difference because of the metal plates that are, you know, still in my legs. And while it's cosmetic and sometimes I could just visually be seen as a normal able body, I do have this history that is still with me today. And trust me, I always prefer ramps over stairs. My council colleagues notice that with me when I insist on taking the elevator over our very private executive stairs. It's just part of what I have to do for myself. But enough about me. Today's press conference is about reflection and action. It's about honoring the progress we've made while recognizing that we still have work to do to ensure that every person has access and can participate in every part of life in Los Angeles. And the Paralympics gives us that amazing opportunity to propel the conversation forward. So I'm very excited that we're here to uplift and support the Paralympic Games. Last year, we had the opportunity to visit and support the Paris Paralympic Games, and I'm glad that we were able to be there. Some of my council colleagues and Mayor Bass, we definitely learned a lot. Right, it was totally a working trip, a meeting, and we're very excited to bring those lessons here. The experience gave me an in-depth look at the scale of these events, what they really do look like, and it gave us the opportunity to also hear the stories of the athletes and how they got there, right, and what these events mean for them. But most importantly, it made us remember that as we plan this, it's planning in terms of things related to both transportation, signage, as mentioned, what the public spaces look, seating arrangements, so much more. So as we go into planning, the summary is we have a lot to plan. We have a lot to plan, but if we plan it from the beginning, if we incorporate accessibility from the beginning, we don't have to go back and make fixes later. And that is the biggest thing to discuss today, or to pretty much, make sure that we elevate. So myself, upon returning, it was important for me to make a motion where I called for the development of a Paralympics game accessibility plan, and I'm glad that my council colleagues and the mayor supported it. The motion passed, and it directs the city departments from LADOT, Metro to Rec and Parks, and the Bureau of Engineering to work in close collaboration with the Department of Disability and Civil and Human Rights Department, to ensure that accessibility and mobility are at the forefront for everything related to LA 28. And thank you to everyone from LA 28 that has engaged with us and taking this very serious. I know together we're going to make a community of ADA compliance as the bare minimum, as the floor, not the ceiling. That's something we're going to be very, very proud of. So, and what we also are doing with this opportunity is making sure that we're thinking about the future, right? I've made the connection recently when I used to once upon a time be part of the Women and Girls Initiative at the county, where we would talk about how when you improve things for women, you technically improve things for everyone, right? And it's vice versa. If we can build a community, a city where we think about inclusivity from the very beginning, you never have to even, you could live your day and live your life without ever feeling like there's some obstacle related to what's in front of you. You can just go out, right, and just be. So I'm proud to support the Paralympic Games here in Los Angeles, and I'm proud to uplift the strength, talent, and spirit of the athletes with physical disabilities who represent the very best of what these games stand for. So whether it's someone that it got their condition later in life, or whether they were born with it, regardless, as mentioned earlier, when you watch these games, and we know that the Paralympic Games attract a much more local crowd through having conversations with some of you here today and learning more about the Olympics, what this is going to do for Los Angeles is going to make a population that is just going to be so inspired by the human spirit, because that's what these Olympians embody. That regardless of the obstacles that life might have put in front of you by birth or by some other reason, you don't give up and you continue to live your life at the fullest regardless of obstacles. So I'm excited for everybody to really be exposed to that here in Los Angeles. Thank you. So with that, I will close, but I also want to give a special shout out to the Department of Disability, General Manager Stephen David Simon. There you go. Such an advocate. I was just talking to him about how he was one of my favorite to watch during the budget hearings because he was so like assertive on the importance of this and not letting the deliverables and the philosophies of your work fall through the cracks as we talk about building and what the future of Los Angeles' infrastructure looks like. So thank you for being that fierce advocate. Okay, and thank you again, Mayor Bass, for all your work and for the invitation today. My community is going to be having some Olympics at the Sepulveda Basin. We look forward to staying in contact with you all with what that looks like. And while there's not going to be Paralympics there, I am being very intentional about making sure that what gets built there is accessible for everyone to go enjoy and see. Thank you all so much for having me. And now you've all heard a lot about his great work at City Hall recently. I want to introduce Scott Blanks from the Braille Institute, Vice President of Accessibility and Employment. Welcome.
Here we go with the mic adjustment again, everybody. All right, that's as good as it's going to get. Good morning. Good morning. You know, it is a real honor to stand before you as we celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. As someone who's blind, a Paralympian in Sydney in 2000, and a proud Angelino, this milestone means a lot. It has real deep personal meaning for me. I grew up in LA and I faced those barriers that come with disability, with blindness, limits on opportunity, education, and frankly, a world that was not built with me in mind. I was fortunate, though, to have access to Braille Institute as a kid. The skills and the mentorship that I received there and the community that I built they gave me the tools to succeed, not just as an athlete, but as a professional and as an advocate. And now here I am. Life has come a little full circle. I moved to the Bay Area for 25 years, but I'm back. And I'm really happy to be the VP of Accessibility and Employment at the Braille Institute. I'm helping others gain those skills and confidence that they deserve. And I do want to pause and just say the Braille translations that Braille Institute made possible that were mentioned earlier are thanks to a number of folks on our team. I'm calling you out, Danny. Where are you? There you go. Danny and all of our team members who made this possible, thank you, all of you. And we're going to do more of that. We have a lot more to come. So the ADA, it was a turning point, yes, but it was never meant to be a finish line. It laid a foundation to challenge discrimination and advance accessibility, but not just as a checkbox, but as a fundamental right. And now as we mark the anniversary, we have to look ahead to LA 28, the Paralympics and the Olympics, which is a real rare opportunity for Los Angeles to show the world what true inclusion looks like. The game organizers have made a public commitment to people with disabilities, and when you combine that with the legacy of the ADA, we have a powerful chance to drive lasting change. At Braille Institute, we're ready to lead and partner in this work, not only for those who are blind, but for people with disabilities everywhere. You know, my experience as a Paralympian, though brief, I had a wonderful time in Sydney. That was my one experience, though, but it showed me that the barriers, those greatest barriers that we face, they're not always physical, and they're very rarely within ourselves. They're societal, they're attitudinal, they come from outside. And the Paralympics are a powerful reminder of human potential, and LA 28 can be a real catalyst, not just for athletes on the world stage, but for every Angelino with a disability seeking access, opportunity, and respect. So it's time. Let's seize this moment. Let's let the 35th anniversary of the ADA be more than a celebration. Let's let it be a call to action, and let the promise of LA 28 galvanize us to build a LA that is truly inclusive and accessible to all, not only through to the 28 Games, but well beyond. Thank you. And I'm happy to introduce our next speaker, Jack O'Neill, Paralympian. And Jack, the stage is yours.
All right. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Mayor Bass, for bringing us all together today. It's a pleasure to be here this morning and speak to the importance of accessibility and opportunity that the Paralympic Games are bringing to LA as we commemorate the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. My name is Jack O'Neill, and last summer I represented Team USA at the 2024 Paralympic Games in paraswimming. My journey wasn't always a clear path, and when I was younger, there was nothing that could stop me from playing sports with my friends, including when I had my leg amputated above the knee at 9 years old due to birth complications. After my amputation, I continued to swim alongside my able-bodied competitors and qualified for the Colorado State Swimming Championships under able-bodied times from age 12 to 18. I was also the first thank you. Thank you. I was also the first triathlete with a disability to compete at all three of youth nationals, high school nationals, and adult nationals. In 2023, I won 3 silver medals at the Pan American Games in Santiago, Chile, and a year later, I achieved my lifelong dream of competing for Team USA at the Paris 2024 Paralympics. Yeah. Achieving your dream is, of course, what you work for. And when I did that in Paris, it was incredible to see the progress that the city had made to such a historic city. But not everyone's goal is the Paralympic Games. Some people's goals are living independently, having a job, or being active in the community. I was fortunate to have the resources to achieve my goal of the Paralympics, and I want all people with disabilities to have access to the resources such as community support, advocacy groups such as Scott had said, and access to equipment that they need to achieve their dreams. With the Games just a few short years away, it's really exciting to see the city of LA rise to the occasion. I'm looking forward to seeing the strides in accessibility made here in LA, not just for a world-class event, but for a city that welcomes and empowers all of us long after the Games are over. I cannot wait to witness history here in Los Angeles when we watch the best of the best compete in the 2028 Paralympics and welcome the world to a city that's designed for everyone. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Well, we'll now move over so that I can sign the executive directive about accessibility for the Games. Let me mention one thing, too. When I had the honor of being a part of the Paralympics last year in Paris, the best part of it was I actually had the honor of presenting medals. And I presented medals to Paralympians in track. And it was definitely the best part. Olympics, Paralympics, that medal ceremony meant the world to me. As the general said, when you see the Paralympics, it opens up a whole new way of looking at people who have challenges and supersede to excellence. So with that, let's sign it. All right. Jimmy, you don't want to come here?